Hello and welcome. Today's guide will be going over the auction house. But before I got started with that, I wanted to go over a few quick tips. One of them being the mini map. When the mini map is open, you can open the settings menu for it up here and change its transparency or zoom it in and out. Another useful tip is in the shop under convenience, there are oh, there it is. They moved it. The 7-day pet ability is 150 rubies. It activates your pet's auto pickup. It's very useful, and it's the main reason I use the auction house. So I can get these rubies. It's the only free way to get rubies is with the auction house, and the pet ability to pick up an auto loot. It's too convenient not to play with. First, in the auction house, you can't use the auction house until level 30 and Act 3. The Act 3 town is the first place he appears, and you can't use him until you turn level 30. Start with the categories. Each category has a drop down for whichever item you're trying to look for. Next is the stats. The orange or the left side is your minimums. The right side is your maximums. Usually the main stat I use in this is quality when I'm trying to look for a quality item. The next category is the grade. If it's white, blue, yellow, orange, or red, that's what these all are. So if I just wanted to look up some unique weapons, make sure I didn't have anything selected, I'd leave it on weapon and unique, and then I'd hit search. And this will show me different unique weapons that are on the market for sale right now, which isn't very helpful because it's just going to list everything randomly. On the left side, you can do it by grade, which these are all unique. You can do it by the item level, which these are all unique, so the item level doesn't matter. And then the bottom two are the prices. This is listing it by the highest current bid, lowest current bid. I normally just list it by lowest buyout. Bidding on an item, you have to wait for the timer to expire and someone can outbid you. And then you'd have to come back and outbid them, go back and forth like an auction house. Buyout price, you get the item immediately, but it might be more expensive. To go back to the previous page, you'd click on search conditions and say if you wanted to look at unique daggers, you could switch it to daggers, and now it will only show daggers. Do the same thing with armor, all the categories. Another thing, you can sort it by max level. So you're trying to get something for your lower level character, you can put in a max level of 30. So now only the unique weapons, max level 30 level requirement will show up. As you can see, 25. The arrow resets the category to the left. Instead of doing these to make sure and put in all of your character stats, you can just click only search for usable gear. But now whenever you look it up, it'll only show you things you can wear or currently use on your character with your stats. On the right is more advanced. You can add specific options that you want to have on the item. Say you wanted it to have percent physical damage. So now it'll have percent physical damage. All of these will have percent physical damage. You can do that with any stat. There's a search bar. You can search in HP. It'll show you all the HP modifiers. Option tier is options are the modifiers. That's what they call it in this game. And the tier is the number on the left. The max tier is 10, but it depends on the item level. The item level is not high enough, it cannot have a tier 10 mod. These are called the option slots or just options. You can have a max of 6. These purple shimmer ones, it's called authority, and that's what you get this special mod from. It can only show up on authority items. And none of these have it, but with authority items, they can roll special modifiers that can only be seen, or options that can only be seen on these authority weapons or armor. You can select authority down here. These are all the authorities that can be on gear. You can also type in a specific name. Like I know I've always looked for this dagger because it's very good for leveling and no one's ever selling it. Whenever you're searching for something by name or specific and it doesn't show up, you just go back and make sure that none of the previous things you did, like if you had magic tagged and you try to search for a unique weapon or armor, it won't show up because you have magic tagged. Make sure everything's default. You can just hit the reset if that's what you need to do. Now, when it comes to finding things to sell, a lot of things that sell pretty quickly would be crafted statues. This is what people buy when they're trying to. This is the only way you can buy gold, or it's at least the easiest way to buy gold. People usually sell them in bulk. That's how you get the best price. But these prices are going up and down, so I know the other day I sold 5 for 300, but then later that day or the next day, I had to sell 5 for 150. Maybe I could have got more, maybe, but I just needed I just wanted the sale. Crafted statues can be made at the alchemy table, and they can be found from the loot goblins, the Peru grave robbers. You can't craft them until in game when you get philosopher's stones anyways, but you can find them or you can craft them from here. Another thing that sells is chaos elements. Those can also be crafted. These can be used as growth material for your runes. They can be used of all colors, and they grant the most amount of XP, so they're really good for leveling those. As you can see, if you have a lot, you can sell it for a lot. I don't know who's going to be paying this much. Maybe someone, I don't know. But when you are trying to look for something to sell, you can go, say you have a axe, a rare axe. You go rare, you put in the modifiers that you think are the most important. That has lightning damage and has um attack speed, weapon attack damage, and it had good rolls, and then you'd hit search. If there's any listed, you can compare prices, you can compare the axe to see how good it is compared to how good your is, and then you can list it for more or less based on their price. The market's still relatively new, so there's not always things on the market, but that's how you would price check it. Next, you can go, next thing I'll go over is the sell page. You can list 3 total items for free if you haven't paid for any way to extend your slots. And that's per account, not per character. If I had 3 characters and I had 2 auction house listings on one character and one on another character, that's the max. I can't put any more on the third character. So what you do is you click the item you want to sell and you'd hit register for auction. You can place a bid on it. If there's a bid on it, it will stay the full duration of the period. Even if, well, usually people don't buy out something that has a bid, but if it has a bid, it will be the same as a buyout. But with bid, it will stay the 6 hours unless someone buys it out. So I generally try to do buyout, sell things that buy out rather than bid. Bid, I normally only put on there for gear that I'm not sure about price. So normally, say this axe, I'd put it, 100, and then I put buyout for maybe 150 or 250. The time down here is how long the item will stay on the market. This is very important because if an item doesn't sell and you selected a day, then that item will stay in that slot taking up space for a full day. You can cancel if you put it up for the wrong amount of time or the wrong price, or you just don't want to sell the item at all. You can put it up here, and then you have 10 minutes to cancel it to take it back. Items you do sell have a 15% service fee. So if you sold it for 50, you're only going to get 42, I think. They do take a percent. Once an item has sold, you have to wait 48 hours to receive the payment. So after 48 hours, you can click this button to receive your rubies. And like I said, rubies are very important for buying those pet tokens. That's the main thing I use them for, but they're also used for buying stuff from the auction house. You can check on your bid status for stuff that you have bid on the last tab. I don't bid on a lot of things, so I've never really used it. Anytime you want to search for something, it's just easy. Remember the category. If you already know what you want, you can just leave the categories and everything blank and then just type it in. You can buy your cards here if you need to. You can select the minimum tier. You can select them to be legendary. Not a lot on the market. can buy your charms. Charms are hard to get at the right type and tier. It can be annoying. So you might have to buy charms. Just always check the auction house. See if what you need is on here and worth paying for. And as always, if there's anything I forgot to mention, leave a comment below, or I will pin a comment with anything I think of after the video. If you could leave a like or subscribe, that would also be very appreciated. Thanks for watching.